In this video I have a very plastic shelf system, but admittedly it's not too bad a quality unit. It's a Panasonic. I forget what the model number is. Where is it? Probably on the back. SG-HM35L. Nice quality masonite back panel. Not sure, this is probably sort of early to mid 90s I'm guessing. Got quite a nice front of it, almost looks like a Technics or something, even though obviously it's all built together. Is that actually a fluorescent display? No, it is. I wasn't actually expecting that. I'm so used to LCDs and stuff these days. And it was made for remote operation, only very basic tape decks, and I really shouldn't have touched this thing at all, but they didn't want much for it. And I couldn't work out what the tape decks were from the outside. They might be Tennisons or they might be something else. So I just happened to ask when I actually picked up a Samsung 32cm smart TV for $20, which I should have a remote for somewhere. Oops, something's fallen down inside there. I just asked them about this. It's like another $10 for this thing. Should I grab it? No speakers, no remote. Says that the tape decks work, and I think the radio, but there was a question mark about whether the fast forward works. So you can see the down and up lights there, so that's probably got a motorized volume control. They would have flashed most likely. Loudness button. 5-band graphic equalizer. It's basically a glorified boombox in many ways with a bigger amplifier in it and a slightly fancier tuner than most boomboxes, I guess. You've got 24 presets. I've got long wave. Don't know that we've ever been able to pick up anything on long wave. Now it's got auto search by the look of it. Yeah, we've got auto up and down, so memory scan. But yeah, very basic. High speed editing, synchro editing start, series play. But just full auto stop. Let's have a look at the decks and see, do they do as promised? This could actually be a Tennyson, I'm not sure. If it is, yeah, it could be the TN, now that I look at it. We might have a TN21 in here. Though, hang on, it's stopping without pressing. It's not a tension stop deck, it's got smaller pinch rollers. Oh, I was going to check the fast forward, wasn't I? Oh yeah. Fast forward definitely not working on that deck, and it goes straight in auto stop. No rewind either, so probably a belt out. And yeah. So we might as well have a look at this thing. I don't have any real use for it. I just wanted to see what sort of decks it had in it, because curiosity got to me, and if it's that cheap, why not have a look? I can always pinch the motor out of it or something, might be good for parts. In that sense, kind of a shame, but what do you do with these things? They were made, did have the instruction book with it, which I've got somewhere. Meant to have a turntable sitting on top, although whether that was something people could buy as an extra. So we must have phono inputs. Oh, you've got CD, auxiliary. Where's the phono inputs? Oh, there. That would be SG-HM35L. So it's got one of those long connectors, which is 2 channels, power, and whatever. Serial numbers falling off. Yeah, just a normal FM. We've got an AM loop antenna. Yeah, so CD, maybe they had a matching CD player with it as well. And we've actually got, looks like remote connects to the CD, so they must have done. Made in Singapore. Matsushita Electric, of course. Wow, look at that big heatsink in there. Even though there's only, I assume that's a tiny little amp chip in there. And a couple of regulator transistors, Toshiba IC there. Got an LM7001 radio chip. We do actually have an AN chip, which is Matsushita. Yeah, I don't know. Looking at, I can see a bit of one of the decks. Probably got to take the front off. Though, is that as easy as it looks? I think we might have to take the sides off is more the case. No pun intended. But let's get the case off it. And maybe we can access, well, maybe we can do the cassette players from below because it's got a masonite bottom. Another quality touch there. But they did the job of these old wooden case sort of things, and it doesn't come off. What have I missed? Well, normally they just pull out. Yeah, something down the bottom here is still holding it. Do we have to remove the masonite? That's what I'm guessing. The back panel may have to come off or something. Even these things can be a bit odd to how they come apart. But generally ones like these Panasonics, when I was doing repairs, they were still running fine. They never had any issues unless someone broke them through force or whatever. But I can guarantee the belts aren't too good in them these days. But these are super reliable sort of systems. I think we've got to unscrew, let's take the rest of the screws. Looks like you slot up this masonite back. What have we got? So I have to take everything off. Then I'm guessing we can get the other bits off. It's a compact audio system. I wouldn't call it all that compact, but I guess compared to having a component system in a big cabinet, it's probably compact. Oh, one more I miss. There's always an extra screw on one of these terminals that you don't see. And we'll take that, and then we should slot upwards off the little clips down the bottom there. Let's unplug our antenna. Except it doesn't want to come. Do I have to press on anything there? Shouldn't do. Maybe. I don't think you press anything. It should pull out. Do I have to prise those upwards? Yeah, it's just tight. Yeah, there's a couple of little clips on the bits. Oh, now we're collapsing. The side came off. That's a good sign. Circuit board fell down, so that's not so good. Here, the whole front's come off the base. Oh, this one's still. Oh, I see. You got to pivot them out and sort of move them forward. And yeah, what have we got? Power transformer attached. I don't like that much because we've got more of those horrible connectors. I think they might have to go though, along with that cable tie. Definitely not a fan of these things. First you've got to try and get the bit to rise up without breaking anything. Which it doesn't always want to do. They really are not much fun. Can we do it at the other end? No, it's soldered to the board. Oh, it does look a bit tension-ish because there's our pause piece. That's what was dropping down inside it earlier on. I still can't tell what they are, but I don't see any sort of belt going to the reel, which I think it should have. All I know is you try and not to do these connectors if you can help it. Well, we can get one end up, but the other two bits are jammed together basically. I think I've even been known to unsolder these things rather than mess with them. Oh, well, we flicked it off somehow, hopefully without breaking it, I think. Halfway across the room, but it's intact. So then we normally, just to be sure, I think there's a little white marker there anyway possibly, but let's put a black mark where the white wire goes the trace. And even then, some of these I think you have to depress. Make sure you got your power off. It can sometimes be best to press a screwdriver down there to press the little metal prongs in. You really need something that presses them all at once. There's probably a special way of doing this. I think we're getting there now. We've got 3 or so out. There we go. And you make a bit of a mess, so you've got to straighten them out again. Maybe if you work from one end and just tilt it. Yeah, they're not my favourite thing on earth. And again, it makes this unit hard to work on. Got a date on that? I don't think so. There's something stamped on it. SJD2125-1.25-080302. Well, I doubt it's an 08 year. And yeah, definitely I can see a gooey belt wrapped around that idler. No belt around that one at all, so it's probably wrapped around the capstan or something. Got all these little earth tabs everywhere. Got one down there, yeah, that's one. I think these were originally, oh yeah, they were originally red screws. They faded even though, well, maybe a bit of sun got through the vent holes on the back or something. That's 4 screws. No skimping with Panasonic. Yeah, rather large circuit board in it. Something to forget about, and a massive one on the front panel too, so there's a lot of circuit board in this machine really. And we better eject. Which one's eject? Oh, it is open. I thought it hadn't opened. It looks, so I've got to undo an earth wire as well. Panasonic took their earth, and of course it's really hard and you've got to press hard on it, which I should have done that before lifting the mech. Then he thought I'd have to put it back. We're going to have to cut another cable tie. Be careful not to damage the wires around it. Ideally this should have been done before removing anything, but I didn't actually expect that. We've got another big star of, oh no, they are tensions. Yeah, you just could not see in this one. Usually you can see the little oscillators, but yeah, when that piece fell out. Oh, there you go, Tension TN21Zs. I think it was actually the other one I wanted some spares of. So of course I got the one I didn't want. Oh, here we go, there's the date. 15th of August 1990, so it was an early 90s, alright, very early 90s. Wow. So that's about 35 years old around about now. Singapore it was made in. So it's a MMI-6H2L WSK 12 volt. I'm not sure what the 6H2 bit's all about. One of them might mean it's got the high speed. Ah, well there you go, it was just a standard deck after all that. I couldn't quite tell, but yeah, it started looking more and more tension. I thought they looked a bit different on the back when I first looked, but they're spread apart much further than they usually are. Threw me a bit as well. Normally they're much closer together, but I guess in a boombox you've got less space. So all we need to do to fix this is the usual change of those belts, which I'm not sure I'll bother doing. I think I might just pinch the tape decks out of this thing for parts. Now where's our pause? I guess we could have a quick look at that. That's the stop eject. Oh, it must be this. There's only one deck has paws. Oh, there it is. It's up there. I can't even remember where they are now. Oh yeah, that's the bit related to the synchro dubbing thing. So this has got that lever there, which then comes across this other lever. Also presses the switch for some reason, and releases the, or it lifts the paws, I think, on the play. Oh, when we press play up on this one, it pushes the paws and lifts it up. If we can see that again, this little lever comes forward, it lifts the little pointy bit on there, it slides along, pushes that down, that lifts that little piece that's fallen off, which then releases our paws. There's a little pin that sits in that bit and flicks back and forwards, and we should have, I've probably lost it now, but it would have had a little plastic bit in the case somewhere, little, I think usually a white coloured little bit to press on that, but that's probably long gone now, if it was even in there. I only heard the one piece rattling around. If I look hard, I might find it somewhere. They have a funny habit of turning up again, even when you think you lost them, because they get jammed in somewhere. Could be stuck to a bit of grease or something. Well, at least I scored a couple of those. I think I've already got a spare one of those. Yeah, I do have one spare one here, and not surprisingly the paws bits have gone out of that. So at least we've got one of them. That's probably the most valuable part in these things, is the paws bit, because it has a habit of disappearing. But unfortunately we've lost the little bit that holds it on. Other than that, not much exciting in here. And I guess we haven't even had a listen to this thing, though. Do we really want to bother? And we have a motorised volume control. They used to be a useful kind of thing, but probably not a lot of use these days. Probably buy them for next to nothing anyway. I think that's a TA8216 IC for the output. Just out of interest. And yeah, very little else in it worth keeping. I guess it'd make a nice radio for someone in a, if you wanted a bit of a louder one and you had a couple of old speakers. But I don't think there's an awful lot of cool. Could make a workshop amplifier out of it type of thing, test amp. You could almost saw the front panel off where this tape deck is without it, but then you'd have to fit the power parts somewhere, that bit we disconnected. Does this unplug? It probably does. It looks like that's an earth wire going elsewhere, so I think I've got another earth wire. So I can remove the decks. They're a super long deck. I'm not used to seeing them like that. But it's been a long time since I really pulled one of these sort of things apart. So I wonder if Panasonic made those brackets as well. Probably did assemble all this in the factory. I think Panasonic used to hide that they had Panasonic mechs. There's absolutely no mention or anything that would give away the fact. Yeah, that belt's just about had it as well. It slips and it's very bulgy. So I probably should remove all belts from this thing. Got a very long one there. I guess we could even get measures of the belts in case anyone wants to know. That's a very long one. That is definitely in the 100 range. Well, still not 100 diameter, more an 80 I guess. Yeah, the belts that are missing on the idlers that go from there under the capstan 49 by 1.2s they should be. We've we've got an 80 here. That's going to be the one, I think. Oh, yeah, it's very debatable, but I think it's pretty close to the size, but yeah, I think an 80 is just slightly smaller, so an 80 on that side. Let's see, this might even be the same. Yeah, I think they tended to make these the same. So that's your belt sizes, two 80s, although go by 1.2s probably, they're a bit smaller, and two 49 by 1.2, so that's what that deck uses. While we're in here, I guess we might as well get a measurement for it, in case anyone actually fixes one of these things. If you had a use for it, it'd be a nice little system to get going. But we'll throw those in the rubbish. I guess we can have a quick look. I can see bits of belt winding around there. Let's just have a quick look, because we probably should get rid of that. Flick the little split washer off there, if we can get it. There we go. Let's put that on that cassette so I can find it again. This one I think we've got to take we've got to take that bit off. The synchro dub lever thing. Still something holding it. Oh, it's just a bit of muck on this one. She's quite dirty. Oh, is it catching on something? Oh, that lever's in the way. Oh, that's a new one. Don't think I've had that before, so we've got to undo the metal lever too, but it is quite grotty. It's also causing friction. Let's just pull that back a little bit. Yeah, that definitely didn't want to come out. And we have a gooey belt. It's probably all in there somewhere. Yuck, that's well and truly gone. I'll get some acetone onto that to clean that up. But might as well dig out the worst of it with the screwdriver. Hard to believe that was the whole belt once. But yeah, that's all gone to go. And I assume the other side's the same. Some of it's wrapped around. There's a bit of it there. Hopefully that comes out of there, because that's going to be a pain if it's all around the idler unit. What is it stuck to? I don't want to touch it with pliers or anything, because it's just torn off and pure goo. It's down under, in between the pulley and the main frame of the idler bit. Now I've got it over there. And I've got some on my bench. That really annoys me. You don't want that on your bench. It'll get on everything that touches the bench then. Let's see if we can pop this other one. Oops, now we're touching it there. That's the bit where the split is. This one should just come out, although again it's got some oxide on it to the point it doesn't want to. I guess we should really wipe that off before we drag it all through the bushing there. That should scrape off. Is that just grease on there? I don't think that's belt, but maybe it is. I think it's just, there's actual gear on there. Oh, that runs on this, of course, that's right, the play gear, so that's got a bit of hairs and stuff in it. Don't think there's any belt actually in there, so I don't know where the rest of that belt went. But we'll get a bit of acetone anyway, I think, and just clean all these bits that look like they've had possible rotten belt on them. That does look clean to me. Nothing black coming off there. This pulley though, in case I ever use this again, that's going to take a few cotton buds probably to get that clean. Sometimes it's best to squash them down a bit so they really go down in that groove. Get into that groove, as Madonna once sang about. Yeah, black stuff everywhere. And I'm smearing a bit of it around, but that would need a lot of work to get fully clean. And there's stuff on the surface. That's pretty good, that'll do for now. If I was going to put a new belt in there, I'd probably clean it a bit more. Might even give it one more go with this cotton bud. Once I work out where the other muck has been. Don't know there's much down in the groove on that thing, but that pulley probably needs a bit of a clean. I think it's gone on the other side of it or something, where it's stuck on the outside of the pulley. Now I'll just put the clips back on and the pulleys back in so they stay with the deck alright. Those other two belts can go in the rubbish. Better put our screws. Oh, we've got a, oh yeah, well that's capstans in, so we can put the screw back into that lever. And yeah, it's going to have to slide around a bit to. Screw has a thicker bit going down that it pivots on. Just make sure it still works. And same with this one, goes under that pin, and normally you'd have to put it under the pause, but ours is broken in this case, and that should push that up and down. Yeah, it flicks up, which would lift the pause if the pause is still in place. I wonder if I can somehow, it's always that bit that's on there that splits. I have to tape, I might tape it to the back or something. Got a bit of bright white insulation tape there. But it's really the other part that's more valuable off these. Almost need to source another place to get those from. But usually you find them in the back, but of course, often like in this case, you're not expecting them to be loose. So you lose them before you even realise. Like I said, I'm not sure this one was in there. I heard that piece flapping around, but didn't hear a second one. Let's see if I can just loosen this board off. That earth wire is going to have to go. I guess for those mechs, for the pausing, all we need is something the right diameter. You could even use a bit of heat shrink maybe. You need something that can press onto that diameter piece of plastic. Doesn't have to look like the original thing really. I guess it just has to operate in a way that it goes through the hole in the other piece as well, and then it needs something to cap it off. Even a tube that came up on that piece that it's got to attach to goes through the hole in the little piece that's loose, and then you can either slide a larger diameter onto that or some heat shrink tubing or something. There's probably a way to do it. I think we're getting to the point where soon we're going to have to work out a way of doing that type of thing. Looks like we're going to take the nut off here. Have to get the front to come loose off that other circuit board, which has a bunch of connectors. And yeah, better be a bit careful. It's starting to come apart. I just fell out that easy. And what have we got? Oh, the headphone socket soldered in place. So you can just take the screw out and remove that. There's our main board. What is that? That must be the selector chip. Yeah, nice little all-in-line pins. Oh, they've bent a couple over just to be annoying. Makes it harder to get off the board, but that volume control is probably worth salvaging. Another front panel someone's been riding on, not sure why they do that, but that Kenwood had it as well. Guess these buttons are maybe almost worth saving, I don't know, and the doors. Not really now, the chances of someone else having one of these that needs those sort of parts, probably pretty slim. Let's just have a look what sort of slide pots and stuff we have. Maybe some of these parts are good for boom boxes or something. Those equalizer pots, but they're probably longer than a boom box, who knows. What's on there? I don't remember what that was. It was, oh, it's a switch of some sort. A lot of good screws, which is something I need to stock up on again. There we go. Oh, the knobs came off. I was expecting them to go through the front panel. So it's still got 3 and 3 pins. That's for the normal potentiometer, 1 for each channel, I guess, and 2 probably physical mounts that just go into a piece of metal that's sort of attached to the substrate or whatever. There's our fluorescent display. It's actually alphanumeric one by the look of it. Got the full pattern there. A couple of interesting shape LEDs there. They're the ones that lit up the volume. Remote receiver, yeah, whatever that switch. Another one of those oddball LEDs. I might pinch them off it because I like collecting oddball LEDs for some reason. And what the hell just fell off the back? Ah, is that part of the one of the doors has fallen off? Oh, it's one of these things. Yeah, how did that come out? Oh, these must come loose. Yeah, it must just sort of pop out. Although that one, has that lost a spring as well? The door still springs out, but not as well as that one. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so those bits just pop out. Wasn't expecting that. Should have kept an eye on it, I guess. But some of those buttons, you never know, they might fit something else, I doubt it. For the cassette, because they do get broken. And yeah, there's a few knobs, now that I realise they come off, they might be good for something. Someone has lost them. And yeah, the main knob, but I think we'll just part this thing out. I might nick a few bits and pieces off the boards, maybe that amp chip, and that's about all I'll do. All I really bought it for was to score a tape deck out of it, and it actually was a tennis in the end. I couldn't really tell. I had a suspicion it might have been, but then you sort of look at it and think, well, is it? Didn't look like the one, the TN21 with the angled levers usually possible to see, that comes, I think, up to that side of the, or is it up that side? I think it is that side. The auto stop, but then they got the little tension similar to that thing, which is just, not sure why they got that bit there, just fixed like an erase head. But they didn't have the tension thing, but I could not see. Normally you can just see the bottom of these things or see them around the reels or something. But this one, they disguised it very well in this one. But they'll be very handy for parts, no doubt. Possibly if you get one of these ones that like those weird problems with the auto stop or whatever, you can just take the screws out, get the whole mech off. Usually I've got the standard 4 screw type setup, And depending whether you want a record one, they got this different metal plate that comes along where the erase head is. Record or playback. And yeah, obviously if it's a single deck or whatever, you've got to swap the motor and maybe wiring connections for switches and stuff. Probably going to have a different motor in the original. You can just unscrew the heads if you really want to take them off and put the originals in there, or rewire them to these, so they can be swapped over. I have done it in the past just to get something going, because the deck had a weird problem and you just tell the customer, look, I've got a good second-hand deck. Are you happy if I swap it? Because the other one's not going to be really repairable, and most people were happy if you didn't charge them much just to swap the whole thing over, because you could spend hours fiddling around with these things when they got weird problems, and just wasn't worth it for most people. They weren't going to pay you to do that. But even with stuff I mess around fixing, it might be handy. But we've also got a set of parts and stuff, good pinch rollers, which might be handy. At least they just unclip. Sometimes you want one of the reels or something. I know I have had a few of these decks. I've stripped down quite a few bits off them over the years. And sometimes these clutches will fail, the reel clutches. They come apart as well, because there's usually a spring in there somewhere. And the motor alone is probably worth what I paid for the whole unit, just to save having to buy a new one, which I think is about $15 now. If I use it, dual speed ones don't always seem to be as useful, but might be good for something. And it's another Panasonic I can get a photo of with a different larger bracket. And I used to think the manufacturers might customise these things, but the fact it's got this longer piece here, it's possible Panasonic came up with that and customised it, but it's also possible the fact it's got the black stamping on there looks very Panasonic factory sort of thing to do. And they do have some odd letters on some of their cassette mech assemblies, like FW and SW and HW and stuff on them. Some are for horizontal, vertical. Some, I'm not sure what they mean. So maybe they mean that some of these decks have wider brackets or something. More than likely they probably custom made them for larger orders for good customers like Panasonic. But it's possible you could buy them off the shelf with different widths between them and stuff. This is more the sort of thing you'd have in a component deck as well. Decks further apart, maybe some LED level meters in between or something. Though often you'd have two separate mechs then, but I guess if you want a single motor drive, you want a single bracket, or you really have to have one. So just another variety of Panasonic. And that's about all I'm going to do with that unit. I think we'll just strip it for parts, because I really don't think it's worth anything as it is. Not a desirable system. If it had a CD and turntable with it, it would have made a nice little shelf system. Possibly still worth something these days. But on its own, doesn't even have the matching speakers, remote, anything. I think we'll just scrap that one. And we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching.